Yes, sir. We're officially back at it. This is Boog Nice coming at you with the Medicom Mafex Avengers Infinity War movie Black Panther figure review. Let's do it.
This ain't for no scalper. You a scalper? Then fuck out shit. This one's for them real collectors. That's army building and posing figures. Marvel Legends, imports, mini matey, I'm fucking with them. Hype beast, we know about you. Stay buying figs, don't know about it.
And a quick look at the box art. You can see a picture of the figure on this side. It says Black Panther. There's the Avengers logo on the opposite side. There is a vertical picture. Mafex number 91, more logos. Let's get this bad boy open, see what's what. All right, here we go. Number 91 for the line, but this is actually Mafex's first Black Panther figure and only their second character from the MCU universe. They've only done Spider-Man previously, so I guess this is a step in the right direction for them. And I will say right off the bat that I do like this figure. It's a pretty fun figure. It's great to pose. And I do believe that it is better than the SH Figure Arts versions. Of course, I'll get some size comparisons going here and some comparisons in general. But he is not without his faults. There is a couple of gripes that I do have here. But let's get into the accessories. So out of the package, he's equipped with 2 fists. And you can see his thumbnail on each fist. Here's a quick look at those wrist pegs. He's got a set of open hands with the fingers fully spread. And you can see those claws there. Those look fine. I had no issue swapping them on. He's got a set that are open with the fingers slightly spread. He's got a set that are open but a bit more relaxed than those first hands. I think I'd use these to just have his hands at his side. Like I said, they look more relaxed. His final set of hands are a set that are cupped and have a hole through the middle, so that way he can hold one of his additional accessories, which is this blade here. And you can see there's a sort of brown design with some purple. I don't know how accurate this is to the movie. And you know, I said Avengers Infinity War when I first opened up for the review, but I think this is the look that originated in the Black Panther movie, and then he pretty much was sporting the same sort of outfit and design in Avengers Infinity War, if I'm not mistaken. But the blade can be separated from the handle, so that way you can slide the handle up into the opening of his hands, and that way he can hold his weapon. And there's a look at that. That was a very snug fit. I would not be surprised if some of the paint from the inner portion of his hand is going to rub off onto this. I've had that problem with other Mafex figures, but he can hold this in either hand, and obviously it's a very firm grip. And you know, you can flip it around and get him pointing it, and you know, flip it the opposite way. Whatever you want to do here, it'll work. And then there's a close look at the head sculpt attached to him out of the package, which I really do like this design. It looks pretty good. You can see the different textures and different shades of black and silver. And I think it's a clean design. They did a good job on this. And there's a look at that neck peg. And then he has an additional head where you can see his eyes, where the slides for the helmet have opened up to reveal his eyes. And I thought this was a cool feature from this suit in the movie. And that looks good. No issues there. And his final accessory is an unmasked head. So you actually have to pop the neck out from the upper torso in order to plug this one in. And so this is one of my issues with the figure. Now, I do think the actual likeness to Chadwick Boseman is there slightly. It looks much better in hand than it did in the images, the promo images. But they didn't get the skin tone right. And we've seen this happen across the board. We've seen this happen with Marvel Legends. You know, he's not like really, really dark, but he's absolutely darker than this. He's definitely not a light-skinned black person, you know, so I don't really like that they didn't nail the skin tone. And you know, with these Japanese companies or these import companies, you know, I gotta kind of side eye them when they don't make the characters the right complexion, and they should be darker skin. Now, I could just be reaching, but it is what it is. So yeah, again, the likeness is there, but it's not. They didn't nail the skin tone. This looks like my man. I said this in Plastic and Paint too. This looks like my man Tayo. Like they modeled it after him. I remember one time Darius said that Marvel Legends was gonna make a Miles Morales after him. He stayed lying. But anyway, moving on. All right, so taking a closer look at this body and going over my other issues with the sculpt and the design here. Overall, I think it's a great sculpt. I think it's better than the SHF version for sure. It looks more like a fitted suit for a guy that is tall but muscular. I do think they got his body type correct, but there are some issues. I do think the arms might be just a little too long. Long arms. He looks very long and lanky, and I don't know, man. I'm not 100% sure how I feel about that. My other major issue with the sculpt of this is these portions here on the hips, which looks very odd to me. I do not like the way these protrude on the left and right, and that looks really weird to me. Other thing with Mafex is oftentimes I feel like they make one leg shorter than the other, and technically that's how it should be. I think that all of us have one leg that is longer than the other, but I don't want that on my action figure. I want to be able to stand them up and everything to look cool when I have them in a vanilla stance. Now, what I do really like about this body is the articulation. I think they did a great job with the articulation, and overall I think the suit is pretty accurate to the movie. I do like this guy a lot, the look of him, but this bothers me so much, and there's a little bit of gappage on the left and right with these parts. I don't like that at all. And looking at his articulation closely, so the head and neck are separate parts. The neck can move independently of the head and vice versa, so you can get him to look down and you can get them to look up, and you do get a decent range. But if you really push it to the limit as far as going up or back, you do see a little bit of gappage here. You know, this is an additional part that can be popped out, so you got to be wary of that, or be aware of that as you're taking your pictures and what have you. Shoulders on a ball joint, they'll come up pretty far. You can do a full 360. There is a butterfly joint in there. There is an upper bicep swivel. There's a double jointed elbow, swivel, and a hinge on the wrist. You do get upper torso articulation, which is good, forward and back. Rotation, you get rotation at the waist. Again, these pieces are very hard and annoying. I really wish they would have made this more flush with the body. You kind of get this drop down method here at the pelvis, what looks like a T-joint at the pelvis too, but you know, you can drop the legs down and get them up pretty far. This was a big point of contention for me with the most recent SHF version. The whole pelvic area was just trash. This is a little better. You can rotate. You do get a double jointed knee. You get a hinge, pivot, a swivel on the foot, and you do get toe articulation as well. So you can get them into some great crouching poses, great dynamic action poses. You know, the fact that you can really get him crouching low, and he's got that toe articulation. Once you get the open hands on him, you know, this is going to look great in poses and pictures and what have you. The articulation I really do enjoy. This right here, this is atrocious, man. I don't know what they were thinking about with this design here. Alright, size comparison time. On the far left, we have the Marvel Legends M'Baku Build-A-Figure Wave Black Panther, which I thought was great. I thought it was definitely better than the first Black Panther they put out, which was the Civil War version, which to this day I think is just trash. And a lot of people still capping for that figure, but it was awful. And then the next one going right is the SH Figure Arts Avengers Infinity War Black Panther. And you can see how those proportions look, how the upper torso looks, how the thighs and the lower legs look. And this just looks so ill proportioned, and the articulation was not great. I was not happy with this figure, and you can see how much better and how much more natural the Mafex version looks in comparison to the SHF version, and even the Legend version. And then on the far right is the Mezco Toyz Black Panther, which was pretty good. I wasn't really blown away by that one either. You know, looking at all of these together, I really do like the Mafex version. He does look long. You can see how long the arms look and the legs look, and just a close look at the SHF version versus the Mafex. Again, these arms are very long. Yeah, that's the SHF version. That head just sitting on the Mafex body. It won't really pop on. You know, it looks a little large too. That's not going to really work the other way around. And a close look at the Mafex version next to the Mezco version. Like I said, I wasn't really blown away by the Mezco one. He does photograph pretty nicely, I suppose, but posability, that's what it's all about for me. I think Mafex comes out on top in that regard. And there's a look at the SH Figure Arts Civil War Black Panther alongside the Mafex Black Panther here. And even the proportions on this one were a little off, but I still think they were better. I thought they would get better with the next one, and they didn't really really do much different. So again, Mafex is on top here. Alright, I gotta get up out of here. I will say that the Mafex Black Panther has a great deal of fun factor. I did have a good time messing around with this guy. He is great for posing, he is great for taking pictures and doing ACBA, but I am aware that he is short, even shorter than the SH Figure Arts version, but his arms and legs are still really long. So a bit disproportionate, no question about that. We are still waiting for that ideal version of Black Panther, but this may be the closest that we're gonna get until next year or until the next movie when everybody gets to take a shot at the character again. Alright, so I still would recommend that you try this guy out, if not just for the fun factor alone, but Mafex is pretty pricey, and if you are on a Marvel Legends budget, this is probably not the one that you want to jump out the window for. You feel me? Alright, thanks for hanging out. As always, rate, comment, and subscribe. And until next time, peace.
That's crispy.